Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with the Lizardmen. Actually, I haven't had a Lizardmen replay in a while, so here we go. They're going to be taking on the Dark Elves. This one's submitted by Gobbo Slayer, so let's get straight to it. We've got a Saurus Oldblood leading the way, a nice balanced line of Skink Cohort with Javelins, with its single Temple Guard. Got some Pterodon Riders and a Skink Priest Lord of Heavens up in the air. 2 units of Horned Ones. Very nice. It's Cold One Spear Riders and some Chameleon Skinks. For the Dark Elves, Dark Riders with shields. We've got the Regiment of Renowned Dark Riders up in the air here in a bit of a precarious situation. Gonna get chased by those Pterodon Riders there. We've also got a couple of Harpies. And then for the rest of the army, Supreme Sorceress, Lore of Fire here with her Burrito Supreme up in the air. We've got Dread Spears, a whole line of Dread Spears, 2 Blackguard of Nagaron, 2 Sisters of Slaughter, and Blackheart Corsairs through the center to cut through Saurus. So quite nice Dark Elf army. You can see right off the bat here, these Dark Riders going to be getting on those Chameleon Skinks. Thankfully, the Cold One Spear Riders are on station to be able to follow up and quickly get a nice rear charge there with that anti-large bonus and the fear that they cause. They'll be able to easily rout off those Dark Riders. So both units of Dark Riders down. Meanwhile, the Regiment of Renowned Dark Riders here, the Ravens Heralds, are in a precarious situation. They've been taking those shots from the Pterodon Riders, and they've already dropped a few unit models, which is pretty painful. You know, they're a relatively low model count unit that does a lot of damage each model. So any model that they lose there like that is going to be a pretty big DPS loss as well. But the Harpies are coming over to try and screen out here, and it doesn't look like the Javs are going to be able to support here. Potentially the Chameleon Skinks could drop some Overwatch fire, but it's going to be a dangerous situation. He does have Harmonic Convergence, so if we saw Harmonic Convergence there on those Pterodon Riders, they could potentially hold out here, but it looks like no spell being dropped yet. And those Pterodon Riders are starting to take a lot of damage from those Harpies. Harpies have really solid weapon strength. Even with the poison, they'll do quite a bit of damage here. So yeah, very nice play by the Dark Elf player to sort of kind of screen that out. And the Supreme Sorcerer is going to start dropping those fireballs. Looks like she's going after the Feral Bastildon. That does basically no damage because of the very heavy armor there. But yeah, Pterodon Riders being held off. The Chameleon Skinks are going to come down this hilly area and try and shoot in the back of the opponent's formation here. Looks like there are some more Chameleon Skinks hidden in the woods here. So we'll watch as the Dark Elves kind of approach here. You can see the Supreme Sorceress securing the Ravens Heralds. One thing that the Lizardman player could do right now is to just turn all these Javelins and try and finish off the Ravens Heralds. They could potentially do some good damage with their few volleys there, but it looks like instead he's going to use the Javelins to go after the Sisters of Slaughter, which is, you know, another place where they can generate some really good value here with those nice little precursor volleys against a very expensive unit. Considering how cheap they are, they're basically going to pay for themselves right off the bat there. You can see the, unfortunately, the Skink Priest is also getting chased around by the Harpies, which is a little bit unfortunate. The Javelin's going to try and support there, but I think they should have enough in the tank to be able to finish him off. Meanwhile, more fireballs from the Supreme Sorceress. And these Chameleon Skinks are getting caught up in melee by Dread Spears. Chameleon Skinks actually have decent enough stats in poisons. They should be able to do okay here. Still not an ideal situation, but obviously Sisters of Slaughter going to cut through these Skinks without too much issue. But here come the Horned Ones, going to bring in a nice charge from the side here. Do a ton of damage to these naked ladies. I mean, they'll be able to hold somewhat because of their high melee defense, but just in general, they're going to get torn to shreds here. The Corsairs, especially with their lighter armor, lighter melee defense, are not going to be able to really stand up too well here. Only 29 melee defense on those bad boys means they will get torn up pretty well. You can see over here, the Skink Priest has been routed off. The Bastildon and the Saurus Oldblood both kind of standing in this pocket and just Death Starring a little bit here. It's a tough situation because of the Blackguard and the Sisters of Slaughter that are in this pocket. The Bastildon's enraged, so he can't pull away, but the Saurus Oldblood is going to go ahead and skedaddle from that situation there. The Temple Guard are holding out quite well in the center so far. They've only been fighting Blackheart Corsairs, of course, but still. You can see this unit of Sisters of Slaughter here has been dealt with by the Horned Ones, so some great value there so far. There are some Blackguard of Nagaron trying to support, but just the horde of Skinks here, pinning them in, not allowing them to really get the effective support here. Looks like Murderous Prowess now popping off, so a nice damage spike all across the board, and that is going to probably finish off this Feral Bastildon here. Looks like Cascading Fire Cloak to boost the armor-piercing damage of those Blackguard and juice up their melee defense as well, up to 75 melee defense, which which is pretty serious, of course. The Temple Guard might be in a little bit of a dangerous situation at this point. They are going to now be used to kind of hold back this giant tide. And, you know, we've got the Hellburn Eye in here to apply some poison. And then, of course, the Blackguard and Sisters of Slaughter will do relatively well. The Temple Guard are just going to be severely outnumbered here, which is a big problem. That being said, there are still some other units here coming in for support. The other Blackguard is still bogged down by Skinks in the backline. And the Horned ones are going to be able to come in and get a pretty decent charge, just punching through these sort of exposed Blackguard here. The Source Old Blood also going to come in and get a couple quick stomps. Doesn't actually have the Horn of Kygor, I don't think. I don't see it on him. He does have Stand Your Ground, but Cascading Fire Cloak going down there is going to give a nice little damage spike because of the Kindle Flame. That will give an extra 22% weakness to fire damage while that's active, so pretty good stuff. You can see the Horned ones getting enraged here and just getting dragged down by Blackguards. Pretty painful. The other unit was able to disengage there and pull away, but we'll see. A lot of the Lizardmen infantry at this point suffering pretty badly. You can see there's not a whole lot of Skinks left on the field still fighting. And the the Temple Guard, they have racked up 57 kills, but now they're facing a potential rear charge by some Sisters of Slaughter and some Blackguards, so it's tough stuff for sure. There's still plenty of Blackguard here as well, so we'll see. These Raven's Heralds they were able to get secured here and use up the rest of their ammunition just about. There's, you know, only 11 of them, so they're not going to be able to use all of their value, but still they'll be able to get some value. Nice rear charge here from the Source Old Blood, trying to re-secure these Temple Guards. You can see they're fighting in a pretty desperate situation now, just about completely surrounded with Blackguard and Sisters of Slaughter on all sides. The Hellburn Eye are also still in here applying that nasty poison. I guess the Sisters of Slaughter also have poison as well, right? So just in general going to be a tough situation for the Temple Guard, and they are not holding up well. They're just about to rout off here. Source Old Blood's been able to do some good damage, but you can see the balance power not looking great for the Lizardmen at this point. The Horned ones here enraged, going after the Sisters of Slaughter. They will be able to finish them off. The Raven's Herald's providing a little bit of Overwatch fire here. Isn't going to do a ton of damage, but it will do some damage. They'll probably be able to take down a couple unit models there. Some regrouped Javelins using their last couple volleys here to apply a bit of poison. And yeah, the Old Blood just continuing to fight here. It's going to be a little bit tough with all of the Blackguard around, but you can see the Temple Guard fighting until the very bitter end here. I mean, they've got the Cold-Blooded, they've got Stand Your Ground to juice up their leadership. They're going to fight basically to the last Lizard here. And yeah, they'll go down swinging, no doubt. But Quick Terror out takes care of those Harpies. There are some regrouping forces in the periphery here. We may get those Chameleon Skinks back. The Horned ones still fighting those Sisters of Slaughter, and that 59 melee defense does come in pretty key there. Even with the juiced up stats of the Horned ones from that XP chevron they've gained, they're still not quite able to finish that one off. So things are really not looking great for the Lizardmen at this point. They've just got a couple Chameleon Skinks left here. They do have some ammo. They're able to kind of poke away and apply some poison. The Source Old Blood is still alive, though. He's recovered a few of these Skinks over on the far side. And there's also a couple groups of Lizardmen Cav up here on the high ground that have been mismicroed a little bit, but these ones regrouped right before the edge of the map. You've also got these Cold One Spear Riders coming back as well, who are relatively healthy. So with those Cold One Spear Riders maybe able to come back, it's going to be very tough, though. I mean, those Blackguard are still so healthy. The Supreme Sorceress is still very healthy as well, so it's going to be tough. Those Chameleon Skinks trying to screen out a little bit here as the Source Old Blood comes through. We're going to get another Fireball from the Supreme Sorceress. Solid hit there. Does some okay damage. Nothing amazing. But throughout the course of a battle, just keep, if you keep plugging away with that Fireball, eventually it'll start to tell on your opponent's HP. You can see these Sisters of Slaughter here. The 6 of them getting chased off by 8 Horned ones. So that's always great. But yeah, this could potentially be a nasty charge here if the Blackguard don't stop and brace. We'll see how the Lizardman player plays this here, but if he can get a good charge, you can see he's now bringing in the Skinks on the side to fix, so that the bracing bonus will not be active for those Blackguard. And a very nice charge here from the Cold One Spear Riders. Going to do some good armor-piercing damage. They're almost immediately going to pull away, though. They don't want to stand and fight there for too long. Likewise, the Source Old Blood taking some damage, and the Horned Ones kind of layering in on a second charge here. The Terror is enough to rout away the Hellburn Eye and the other Dread Spears here, but we'll see. The Supreme Sorceress dives down. The Blackguard are taking quite a bit of damage, and the fact that the Skinks are in here distracting them, distracting their unit models, messing up their bracing bonus, means means that they're going to have a lot harder time taking care of these Horned Ones and the Cold One Spear Riders and so on. Likewise, the Supreme Sorceress dived down in here, which was a huge mistake. She just took a ton of damage from the Saurus Old Blood and immediately got terrified away, which brought the balance of power very much back towards the center, still slightly in favor of the Dark Elves at this point, but losing out that Supreme Sorceress like that, you know, the Saurus Old Blood, only 500 HP and he's wavering, but still it's a very risky dive to try and dive in there like that and rout him off. You know, I get what the Dark Elf player was going for, I just don't think that was necessarily the smartest decision there. She actually gets full-on shattered here by these units, which is just very, very painful, and actually just dies straight up to the Saurus Old Blood there. So Steel Chair just whacked her over the head. She's completely done for now, and at this point the rest of the Dark Elf forces are going to be suffering leadership issues. As long as the Saurus Old Blood can stay alive here, we'll see. I mean, there are still quite a few Blackguard here. They're anti-large AP, and they're, you know, they've got good melee defense, good leadership. They're immune to psychology, so they're not going to get terrified by the big scary dinosaur. But we'll see. Cold One Spear Riders coming around for one more charge here. Going to get in and get some good damage done. That armor-piercing damage going to be very key in the late game here. Saurus Old Blood also diving back in. He's got Stand Your Ground, or no, Foe Seeker and Cold-Blooded just to give himself a bit more leadership there. Might have wanted to save that Cold-Blooded just in case these Cold One Spear Riders rampage. It looks like they're getting pretty close to the threshold. But at this point, Skink Jabs being super cost-effective, chasing off some Dread Spears here. And yeah, you can see that's super painful. Unfortunately, the Cold One Spear Riders did get enraged there, so might have wanted to save that Cold-Blooded until that point. Although I guess the Saurus Old Blood himself is routing off anyway, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That's pretty painful. That enrage there just cost those Cold One Spear Riders quite a bit of HP in unit models. But the rest of the units are pretty much shattered, so it's just the Blackguard now. We're going to fast forward a little bit as both players kind of reform their lines here. You can see the Lizardmen, having finished off those other units, is going to pull back together here, try and get all of his forces unified so they don't rout away. Cold-Blooded, again used on the Saurus Old Blood just to keep his leadership from shaking too much. And now, again, the Skinks going to be used as a fixing force, coming in on the side, messing up the bracing bonus. And then here comes the Old Blood and the Horned Ones from the side, getting a really nice charge in here. We'll see. Will it be enough in this late game situation to finish things off? We've also got a couple of Skink units also going to be following up here as well, so we'll see. It's going to be super duper close in this late game situation. It's all a matter of if these Blackguard can hold up their leadership, so we'll see. Grab some close-in cinematics as the Skinks rush in. The final rear charge, will that be enough to finish off the leadership, or will the Saurus Old Blood get finished off? He's down to 245 HP, and he's wavering, but another rear charge by some Horned Ones is going to actually rout off one unit of Blackguard, and the other then routs as well. So a super tight finish there, but the Lizardman player, you know, playing very well in that late game situation, keeping all of those low leadership units, you know, from routing off, keeping them all unified together and getting that full surround, even though there were still so many Blackguard left, and that's such a huge threat. You know, he got all those tattered units in a full surround, and that's ultimately, you know, that multiple attack from the flank, attack from the rear penalties is what was able to finish off the leadership of those Blackguard there. So very well played to both players. That was a super epic game, absolutely down to the wire. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching that as much as I enjoyed casting it. In terms of the army breakdown here, 100 kills for the Saurus Old Blood. I really like him as a cheaper alternative to Krokgar in some certain matchups. Chameleon and Skinks, one of them got some really good work done. And the Lizardmen Cav here as well. Cold One Spear Riders, 97 kills, XP Chevron, 127 on these Horned Ones and an XP Chevron there. Pterodon Riders, despite the fact they took a ton of damage early on, did generate some great value, taking down some of those Ravens Heralds, and they did end up getting an XP Chevron at the end of the day, so it must have done something cost-effective. For Noob Slayers, Dark Elves here, obviously the Blackguard cleaning up a ton of kills, doing a lot of the key work in this particular battle. The Blackguard Corsairs did okay. Sisters of Slaughter were a little bit of a tough pick. I understand taking them, you know, to cut through Skinks relatively easily and to cut through Saurus, but it kind of got mashed on a little bit by the Lizardman Cav, which was pretty rough, but still a very fun battle. Well played to both players. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.